News just in. Selectors have arrived at the BCCI headquarters. They are expected to pick the final 15 who will eventually become a part of India's World Cup squad. The selectors have the task of picking up the right combination of players who will defend India's World Cup title. The focus will be on players who are able to perform in Australian conditions. The selectors will also have to go by the form in which the players are currently in. This makes the selection even more interesting as players like Murli Vijay and Yuvraj Singh come into the mix. The selectors will also have to check the fitness of the players. This will specifically apply to all-rounder Ravindra Jadeja, who is nursing a shoulder injury. The selection meeting is expected to begin at about 1 p.m. India's one-day captain MS Dhoni will be on video conferencing for the meeting as well. Let's get more from our correspondent Rasesh Mandani, who's with us live from Mumbai. Rasesh, lots of excitement around the announcement of India's World Cup squad.
Yes, Simi, there always is. This is a World Cup selection. The World Cup selections are often about a few picks which are undecided, but there are always a lot of frenzy, a lot of expectation. India going into this World Cup as defending champions. I think basically 3 or 4 positions which the selectors need to look at seriously as far as the selection is concerned. As far as fitness issues are concerned, Ravindra Jadeja is the only fitness worry. The fresh update that we can provide is that he's currently undergoing rehab in Chennai. He's only going to start throwing in by next week. The medical word is that he's expected to be fit by month end, which means the selectors will now have to take a call whether they can right now select an unfit Jadeja who's expected to be fit in time for the World Cup and then draft him in without any sort of match practice. It's a call they will have to make, but he's someone who's been a crucial cog in MS Dhoni's wheel as far as him leading teams is concerned, and there is a possibility that with the rules allowing Jadeja to be replaced subsequently, that they perhaps might decide to pick Jadeja at this stage and then decide if he needs to be replaced. The other positions of interest would be what happens to the reserve batsman position. Would someone like a Yuvraj Singh, who's outside the mix, outside the probables list, come into play? He's obviously staked his claim by performances in domestic cricket. He's scored 3 tons in the last month or so, but does the team want him? I think that's the big question. Does the captain want him? I think this selection is going to be as much as the call of the selectors as what MS Dhoni thinks. Dhoni is going to be joining the selectors via video conferencing from Australia, and if he believes that Yuvraj Singh can still be a value to the team and win him matches, which he did in the 2011 World Cup, then he would surely be the pick. Otherwise, I wonder if the selectors would want to force a selection upon MS Dhoni.
Absolutely. And Rasesh, given India's performance in recent Test cricket, will that also be a cause of concern? Because seeing how India has performed and how the Indian team has performed in Australia and in England, will the selectors be also looking at inducting some fresh blood?
Well, I think more or less that the team picks itself up, and it's important for us to sort of keep the test performances differently, because the Indian one-day team is performing a lot more consistently. This is a much stronger Indian-looking team, the Indian one-day team, as opposed to the test matches. The only thing that may bother the selectors is fitness and form of some of the fast bowlers. The fast bowlers, the seam attack will play a big role in Australian conditions, in New Zealand conditions, and with someone like Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, who's on display here in the test match in Sydney, is struggling with fitness as well as rhythm. I think that is something that will concern them. For that reason, they might want to pick a few extra bowlers, at least in the tri-series coming up. India is playing in Australia in the tri-series in lead up to the World Cup, so they might want to pick up a few extra bowlers who may then be used as standby for the World Cup. The likes of Umesh Yadav, Ishant Sharma, and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Mohammad Shami will perhaps pick themselves up. As far as that reserve bowling position is concerned, there may be a bit of deliberation. Someone like Mohit Sharma has just done just the right thing of striking when it matters. He's picked up a hat-trick in the Ranji Trophy today itself, and he's someone who's always going to be someone in contention. I think he's a strong contender. The other option is perhaps to have a reserve in terms of an seam bowling all-rounder in a Stuart Binney, but again the question arises if Dhoni is comfortable with Binney's all-round credentials. If not, then they may still go in with someone like a Mohit Sharma.
Absolutely. Selectors have a difficult task at hand. Rasesh, thanks so much for that update. Keep coming back to you for more.